It's finally here, E3. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on each of the conferences, starting with EA and ending with Square Enix, and then Nintendo will be its own video later on. So let's get started. First up was EA. Probably not going to have to talk much about their conference because there's really nothing to really talk about, because what did they announce? They announced another Madden game, another FIFA game, expansions to Sims 4, more things coming to Battlefield 5, Season 2 of Apex Legends. Expansions should not be at E3. I want brand new games. Speaking of brand new games, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. What do I gotta say? I'm not impressed. It just looks like Uncharted and Tomb Raider and every AAA third-person game, pretty much, into one. Very generic, very clunky looking, not impressed at all. I wouldn't say it's off my radar yet, but it doesn't look fun. But the one thing that every game needs for me is lacking. It just doesn't look fun. I do have hope for it because it did say it was in alpha, but I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 had alpha gameplay shown a year ago, and that game's still not coming out until next year, next April. So I'm not sure how Star Wars can go from alpha to beta to final in 5 months now. But we'll see how it turns out. Overall, EA, gonna have to give, I'll give them a 2. Solely because they showed gameplay of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for the very first time, but nothing else. Presentation wise, it was a complete disaster. The host they had was obnoxious. I just did not like this conference at all, to the point where I actually had to stop watching it after Star Wars. I tried watching, the other things, but it just Next up is Bethesda. They started off the show showing off like Fallout 76, getting a new Battle Royale mode. Does anybody still even play this game? Does anybody care? Obviously the audience cares. Maybe a little too much. What is with this crowd? The crowd is just so mindlessly, just blindly cheering for every single thing that comes out of these people's mouth that it's just, oh my god, it's so frustrating. It really feels like they just hired the people on there. There's no way you'd be cheering for Bethesda, especially Fallout 76, after that dumpster fire that just happened last fall. Okay, get out of here with that. And cheering for mobile games. It's like, mobile games should not be at E3. That was a major flaw of this conference. They showed mobile game, mobile game, mobile game, mobile game. They also had 2 new IPs as well. They had Ghostwire, which, cool concept, but all they showed was a cinematic trailer. There's nothing really to go on then. We know it's an action-adventure game, and the other game, Deathloop, being revealed with another cinematic trailer. Why do we have these brand new games being revealed with cinematic trailers? We need gameplay. That's why I love games like Astral Chain, because when they first revealed it, they revealed the game, they revealed the story, they revealed the people making it, and at the same time revealed the release date. It's more so just showing concepts for games. It's cool that they're new IPs, but I can't get hyped for them. They also didn't show Starfield and Elder Scrolls that they showed last year. They also showed Wolfenstein Youngblood, which I enjoyed the first one, but I enjoyed the first one and its DLC, but I wouldn't want to play anymore personally. Then Doom Eternal came out. That looked awesome. I liked the first demo a lot more because there's a lot more movement going on, with the grappling hook, but it still looks good. Probably won't be picking it up day one though. More than likely just gonna wait for the Switch version. Overall, Bethesda did really bad with their half-hearted apology, the endless amounts of mobile games, the 2 new IPs that had no actual gameplay, and that very easy to please crowd. I'm gonna have to give Bethesda a 4 out of 10. Microsoft showed off a ton of games, so I'm gonna go over the things that interest me a little. So, The Outer Worlds, that looks great. It's from the same people that did, I believe, the Fallout New Vegas game. I've never played that one. I always hear that one's the best out of all the Fallout games. I'm a little shaky with Bethesda. I really don't like them as a company because of how buggy their games are. Ori, Will of the Wisp, that looked cool. Maybe I'll try that out if it ever releases on something I actually play on. Minecraft, they had like this Diablo type Minecraft game that looked interesting, I guess, for people that like Minecraft. They showed off Star Wars again, nothing really new. I think there was the AT-AT scene at the end there, though, if I remember correctly. A new Blair Witch game, not sure what that is. They had Cyberpunk 2077, no gameplay, but they had Keanu Reeves.
Good to see you, thank you.
Probably one of the hypest parts of E3 at least. So far. That was really fun. But they also had Battletoads. That looked really ugly. Tons of indie games, some sort of deer game where you bash your head on vending machines. Game Pass is coming to PC now. I think that's really cool. But overall, the idea of Game Pass I think is cool. But the fact that they're putting all these AAA games that are coming out brand new on Game Pass leads to the games not being as polished as they could, and them just releasing half-baked games. And since they're connected to the internet, they can just release patches and updates to improve the games instead of actually, making a complete game that people actually go out and buy. Oh yeah, Microsoft bought Double Fine, Tim Schafer's studio. Phantasy Star Online 2. That was amazing. Finally bringing over Phantasy Star Online 2 to America, localized and everything. That is fantastic. I know they had that on Switch. I'm still surprised they never brung it over to the Americas, because it's been on the Switch like forever now, damn near since the launch of the Switch. So that's really cool that Xbox is bringing it over. They also had Tales of Arise, which looks freaking awesome. It definitely looks a lot different than the previous Tales game, as it looks like kind of an evolution. Hopefully this game will make positive changes, because we know what happened when they tried to make too many. George R.R. Martin and From Software are teaming up to do a game. Should be pretty Dark Souls-y gameplay wise. They have a new controller now for whatever reason, not sure why that's a thing. Biggest flaws of this conference, we're not showing Xbox Scorpio gameplay in action. They pretty much did what they did with the Xbox One X and just had a bunch of people talk it up. And gameplay of Gears 5 and Halo, their two biggest games that they announced last year, mind you, one of which is coming out in 3 months. There's definitely something for everybody in this conference, but they kind of faltered on the important parts. They're definitely going all in with this Xbox and PC fusion. So overall, I give Microsoft's conference a 6 out of 10. If they had Gears and Halo gameplay, it would have boosted them up at least 1 more point. But when you announce Legos and Forza Horizon 4, it's just really telling of how much they really don't have. Ubisoft's conference can be summed up in one phrase: no Rayman out of 10. This conference was a complete disaster. It started off well with their new Watch Dogs game. But after that, it just spiraled all the way down. So let's get into this. Watch Dogs, like I said, looked pretty cool. I never really got into the first two. Never really was interested in the whole hacking thing, but it does look cool. There's like multiple different characters that you can switch to. That's really cool. And then you can like go back and save them if you get captured. It looks great. It looks really in-depth. Then we go to Mystic Quest, which I can't tell if that was a movie or a show or a game. I don't know. They didn't show anything about that game really. They just had some like silly little skit about it. Okay, they had some updates for Rainbow Six. They had Brawlhalla, Adventure Time, crossover. They're gonna have Finn and Jake in it. I heard Brawlhalla is actually a pretty good game. I've only played a little bit, but I guess that's kind of cool. For those who like it, I personally don't care about Adventure Time like that. So, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They had John Bernthal, the guy who plays the Punisher and I guess the main character in that game. That was cool, but just like with Cyberpunk, there was no gameplay. So I don't care. I can't get hyped for that. They also had a mobile game. Don't care about mobile games. Mobile games do not deserve to be at E3. Then they went into Just Dance. Just Dance, I don't care about Just Dance. The coolest thing about that, I guess, is that it's coming to the Wii still after all this time. Rainbow Six Quarantine's a new like zombie type thing, infection. Okay. Another update for Division 2 with like episodes, and then they announced they were gonna do a movie for it. I'm pretty sure I've heard that the story in those games is like the worst part about those games, so I'm not sure how they're gonna make a movie out of it. It's gonna be on Netflix. Okay, a movie at E3. We already have CGI cutscenes. I don't think we need movies being announced. They have Uplay Plus. They announced that was going to be on Stadia. It's going to be like a streaming service, another streaming service on the cloud, and it was going to be on PC. Okay, so are games becoming Netflix now? Is that where we're gonna be going? God. They had Roller Champions, which pretty much Rocket League, but it does look different enough. It looks like that one game, that one sport they were playing in Alita Battle Angel, if you saw that. I guess it looks cool. It's playable now. That's also really cool. It does look cool though, I guess. It is available today, so I guess it's a plus. And they showed gameplay too, so that was cool. Then the last thing they showed was a game called God and Monsters. And that looked like Breath of the Wild. I don't think anybody can deny that. They definitely got inspiration from Breath of the Wild. So overall, conference was lackluster. They didn't have Rayman, they didn't have Beyond Good and Evil 2, they didn't have Prince of Persia, they didn't have Splinter Cell either. So honestly, my rating is not going to be like the other ones. It's going to be no Rayman out of 10. Because honestly, that was the only thing I was looking forward to, them announcing something. You know, especially since the original creator of the soundtrack for the original Rayman passed away. I thought they'd at least do something, but they didn't do anything. And no Assassin's Creed, like I care, but that's still another thing. But overall, really lackluster. Didn't really enjoy it. Probably the least enjoyable conference up there with EA. So yeah. Oh yeah, and that God and Monsters game, we got a teaser trailer with a release date, but no gameplay. Oh yeah, Splinter Cell, not here. Sam Fisher's in a mobile game. And lastly for this video, Square Enix. Now, they did really well. Don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that looks freaking amazing. As someone that isn't even hyped for it, It's really hard for me not to say it doesn't look fucking amazing. My main issue with this whole conference as a whole, and it's pretty much the reason why I won't be talking about it too much over the other ones, is that most of these games are remakes. So even though they did show gameplay for damn near every single one of these games, admittedly they are games that have already been made, so it's not really hard for them to do that. You have The Last Remnant remake, Crystal Chronicles remake, Octopath port, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Dragon Quest 11 on Switch. That didn't get a release date. We got like a release window. There's like this top-down car indie game, Final Fantasy 8. That game deserves to be remade. I personally hold a soft spot for Final Fantasy 8. I'm glad they're finally giving it the light of day and finally remaking it. It's coming to the Switch. It's coming to, I think, most platforms. They showed Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. That, all I'm gonna say is that it was disappointing. Definitely not the game we wanted. And honestly, after Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm done with Kingdom Hearts. So I couldn't really care less about DLC for a game that, as monumentally disappointing as that game was. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. They also had Romancing Saga. That was coming to the West for the first time. There's also another game, I forgot what it was called, but that was also coming to the West for the first time. They had mobile games, thankfully only like one, I believe. War of the Visions. They had Final Fantasy 14 expansion pack. There's a new game announced by the guys that made Lost Sphere. It's called Oninaki. Looks like a more action RPG. But the big one, besides Final Fantasy VII Remake, was the Avengers game. That looks fucking awesome, but they need to show more gameplay. It's like a Spider-Man PS4 deal where it's like you can't really tell what's gameplay and what isn't gameplay. So I need to see actual gameplay. That it looks fantastic. They have Nolan North doing Iron Man and Troy Baker doing the Hulk. It's gonna be sick. I just need to see more gameplay. Honestly, that was probably my biggest complaint with that. Other than, you know, most of them being remakes, we didn't really see very much gameplay, if any at all, of Avengers. But overall, they did damn good. Definitely I'd say the best conference overall. It's kind of sad because the most hype I've ever been was for a remake and Keanu Reeves. And after all that, I'd give Square Enix a 7 out of 10. God, what is wrong with me? I'm making this video at 1:33 a.m. I'm gonna get up tonight. Tomorrow morning it's Nintendo, so I'll definitely have a video for you guys, I guess today now. So I will see you guys then. Hopefully Nintendo can single-handedly clean up, wrap up E3, just surprise me. Like, honestly, if they do anything that's like even remotely surprise, they'll more than likely just take the win. It's really easy. So hopefully they can at least do that. But you know, this is Nintendo. They're very known for doing exactly what you don't want them to. So we'll see. But that's it for this video. I'm gonna head to sleep, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or today, whatever. Microsoft showed off a ton of games, you know, Outer Worlds, Ori and the Will of Wisps, Outer Worlds, Ori and the Will of, fuck, yeah,